محمد وآل محمد صلوات. And brothers and sisters, can I ask you to move as far forward as possible? People are still joining from the back, so please you move as far forward as possible to give space for them. I can still see plenty of blue carpet at the front. Please move as far forward as possible. Thank you. Brothers and sisters, the next part of the program is the recitation of the Holy Quran by Ahmad al-Muswi. Please welcome him with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Mubarak inshallah this blessed day to everyone. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. إنا خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا. إنا هديناه السبيل إما شاكرا وإما كفورا. إنا أعتدنا للكافرين سلاسل وأغلالا وسعيرا. إن الأبرار يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا. عينا يشرب بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا. يوفون بالنذر ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا. ويطعمون الطعام ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا. إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا إنا نخاف من ربنا يوما عبوسا قمطريرا فوقاهم الله شر ذلك اليوم ولقاهم نضرة وسرورا وجزاهم بما صبروا جنة وحريرا متكئين فيها على الأرائك لا يرون متكئين فيها على الأرائك لا يرون فيها شمسا ولا زمهريرا ودانية عليهم ظلالها وذللت قطوفها تذليلا ويطاف عليهم بآنية من فضة وأكواب كانت قوارير من فضة قدروها تقديرا قوارير من فضة قدروها تقديرا ويسقون فيها كأسا كان مزاجها زنجبيلا عينا فيها تسمى سلسبيلا آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات.
Thank you very much for that beautiful recitation. Brothers and sisters, the next part of the program is a qasida by Muhammad Muhammadli. Please welcome him with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. How can you ask who Husayn is? How can you ask who Husayn is? How How can you ask who Husayn is? Who Husayn is? How can you ask who Husayn is? Born in the house of purity, his father was Mawla Ali. In spite of his nobility, he always showed humility. The first brother of Mujtaba, the first brother of Mujtaba, the second son of Fatima, our third Imam is the great Husayn. Our third Imam is the great Husayn. Who Husayn is? How can you ask who Husayn is? The messenger was asked to teach. His holy house helped him to preach, not by their sword but by their speech. So far and wide the truth did reach. Islam taught by Nabiullah, Islam taught by Nabiullah, preserved by the Waliullah, living in us through the one Husayn. Living in us through the one Husayn. Who Husayn is? How can you ask who Husayn is? His family, the one so pure, such a torment they did endure. There on the plains, on burning sands, against Yazid they made a stand. The martyr of Karbala, the martyr of Karbala, the king of all the shuhada, the savior of Islam, the pure Husayn. The savior of Islam, that pure Husayn. Who Husayn is? How can you ask who Husayn is? Ibn Ziyad, you must concede, in paradise Husayn will lead. He always taught the one true creed. Following him you will succeed. He rode the shoulders of Nabi, he rode the shoulders of Nabi, beloved grandson of Rasul. The youth of paradise follow Husayn. The youth of paradise follow Husayn. Who Husayn is? How can you ask who Husayn is? The 12th Imam, the one unseen, will soon return to renew our deen. He'll root out all of those unclean. He's looking for just 313. The soldiers of Imam Mahdi, the soldiers of Imam Mahdi will not just be anybody. They'll come from the Shia of Hussein. They'll come from the Shia of Hussein. Who Hussein is? How can you ask who Hussein is? How can you ask who Hussein is? Who Hussein is? How can you ask who Hussein is? Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala you very much, Muhammad. Another loud salawat for him. Allah. Salawat. Brothers and sisters, the next part of the program is the main talk by Shaykh Ali as we celebrate the birth anniversaries of Imam Husayn alayhi salam, Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, and Imam Zaynul Abideen alayhi salam. Please welcome him with a loud salawat. Ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Shaykh Ali is a graduate of the Al-Mahdi Institute seminary program and has a postgraduate from the University of Birmingham in Islamic Studies. In addition to coordinating the Center for Intra Muslim Studies and other outreach events at the Institute, he also lectures in Fiqh and Usul al-Fiqh. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وهو خير ناصر ومعين ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي صلوات. As we are celebrating the birth anniversary of these great personalities, Imam Husayn, Imam Zaynul Abideen, Hazrat Abbas, it's apt for us to ponder over their life and how we can embody the way they lived. We saw the beautiful recitation of the verses of the Quran, talking about the story of how the Ahlul Bayt gave so freely. They didn't discriminate. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ. Their focus was the love of God. Whoever came to their door, they gave. And this is something I have been reflecting on. How can I be so giving without discriminating? There come times where I may put people into boxes, and I may think that this person is like this, is of this thinking or that sort of mentality. But the Ahlul Bayt taught us not to look at any of these things, and if anyone comes to you, you give so freely. But this comes really with a journey of looking within, of working on one's own self, of refining oneself, of becoming at one with the Beloved. And we find this in the du'as of the Ahlul Bayt, the du'as of Imam Sajjad in Sahifa Sajjadiyah, the du'as of Imam Husayn on the day of Arafah. Such beautiful du'as where they converse with God with so much love, where they converse with God and tell God all that's in their heart. But they must know what's in their heart. Do I know what's in my heart? Such is my situation that when I get a message or something happens to me, my entire situation is in turmoil. My entire day is spoiled when I receive a message that I don't like, for example. Why am I so reactive? What is going on within myself? There is a wise wisdom from the East that mentions this. There's a fight going on inside of me. It's between two wolves. One wolf is reactive, full of anger, envy, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, resentment. The other wolf is proactive, full of joy, peace, love, humility, kindness, empathy, and truth. So the student asks the teacher, which wolf will win if they are pitted against each other? He said, the one you feed. So I ask myself, which wolf am I feeding? What is going on within myself? It starts with my own self-reflection, looking within. But in today's age of constant messages and scrolling and everything else, I don't want to address what's going on within myself. I'd rather spend time on the shorts and the reels and everything else just to avoid what's going on. We have much more things to connect us, but we are more disconnected in today's world. I run away many times without addressing what's going on. Something happens to me, I'm reactive. I react in a certain way. Internally, my heart is beating. This is what's happened to me. The stress is released within myself. My entire day has gone like this. But instead of sitting down and feeling my feelings and reflecting on it and actually embodying it, I tend to distract myself. I tend to cover up my feelings. I don't address it. The Quran mentions من عمل صالحا من ذكر وأنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة. Whoever does good, male or female, and he has faith, then we will give him a good life. What is this good life? How can we be in life? We look at the Ahlul Bayt, they went through so much trauma, physical trauma, emotional trauma. You look at Imam Sajjad, the classical example, how he went through what he went through at all these different stages of his life. He is pushed to the max. Yet you see in the du'as that he is reciting in Sahifa Sajadiyah are amazing. They aren't one of somebody who's reactive, who's blaming, who's saying that this happened to me, why me, my father got killed, this and that. Nothing. Just pure love, talking to God, saying, God, you are the one, as the dua mentions, you are the one that unties all the knots of difficulty. You are the one who helps me through every situation. I'm abundantly grateful to you. How do we reach this stage? We must look within. We can't run away from the feelings that are going on within ourselves. So the principle in the Quran is very simple. We will most definitely test you. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ. The test is definite. We are all going to be tested. But the Quran also mentions وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. So test is definite. We are all going to be tested. The question is how we're going to face the test. It's not what happens to us that's so important. It's how we face that situation. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. That there are from amongst people who live on the cliff's edge, who are on that edge. If something good happens, they're happy. Itma'anna, as the Quran says. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ فِتْنَةٌ إِنْقَلَبَ عَلَى وَجْهِهِ. If something bad happens, they fall flat on their face. Am I like that? The Quran continues. خَسِرَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. They've lost this world and the next world by living a life of reactivity. That everything comes my way, I'm reactive. That something happens to me, I fall down on my face. Not physically, but within myself. خَسِرَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. The Quran says, they have lost this world and the next world. ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْخُسْرَانُ الْمُبِينُ. That is the worst loss. Am I like that? I ask myself. I must look within. I must reflect. Salawat ala Muhammad wa alim. The teacher was telling his student, when an arrow strikes you, it causes pain. But when the second arrow strikes you, it doesn't cause double the pain, it causes an infinite amount more of pain. But the teacher continues and tells his students that the first arrow is like life. Whatever hits us will hit us. It's going to cause us pain. But the second arrow is our choice of how we react in that situation. Are we going to allow that situation to take over me? Are we allowing our situations to engulf me, that I feel that infinite amount of pain? Pain is going to be there. Pain is inevitable. But suffering is optional. How we face situations is really important. We find this in the life of these three personalities, and indeed in the Ahlul Bayt, in the prophets that are mentioned in the Quran. How they dealt with situations is amazing. Musa alayhi salam is in this very tight situation. He has just freed the Bani Israel from the clutches of Pharaoh. He comes in front of the river or the sea, the water body. The Bani Israel are all up in arms. Musa, you've brought us to definite death. Why have you made us come to this situation? What a difficult situation. If only you had left us with Pharaoh. And Prophet Musa so beautifully says something. He says, Inna Rabbi ma'ya sayahdeen. My Lord is with me. He will guide me. And if we think about it, Allah is with us at every single situation. But we are not there. We are not receptive to that. I doubt Allah. The Quran mentions, who is the one who created the heavens and the earth? Intellectually, I know it's Allah. Intellectually, I know that Allah has created everything, and in His hands is the rizq, in His hands is everything. All power lies in His hands. But in my heart, I doubt Allah. The Quran continues, it said, if Allah is the one who created everything, فَأَنَّا تُؤْفَكُونَ? Who are you turning to? All these idols that I have created, who am I turning to in these different situations? If something happens to me, my heart changes so quickly and I lose trust in God. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whoever is conscious of Allah, Allah will open up a way. وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. And whoever has trust in Allah, he is enough. Ibrahim alayhi salam is thrown into the fire, the burning fire. He has nothing. But in that moment, he trusts Allah. And the Quran mentions that the fire becomes calm. Ya naru kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim. O fire, be at ease and calm for Ibrahim. What about me? The fire that's within me, that's burning and raging, and I'm fueling that fire. We need to become like Ibrahim and submit to God. We need to be, as the Quran says, follow the path of Ibrahim. Millata Ibrahim Hanifa. Follow that path. And the Quran also says that the person who doesn't follow that path, safiha nafsa, that he is a foolish person. The only path is that. What's inevitable is that we will be tested in our different ways. That's inevitable. And the test is very specific to each and every one of us for a particular reason. That test for me is not going to be a test for you. That test for Al-Husayn is not going to be the test for me or you. Everyone has their particular test based on their capacity and on that thing that they are working on, that they need to work on. And the spiritual rule is that it will continue to happen until you resolve that issue within yourself. That particular type of test will come and come and come until you resolve that issue. And then another test will come. But it's all there for our own growth. In that point of darkness, there is light. There is a point of growth. وَظَنُّونَ إِذْ ذَهَبَ مُغَاضِبًا. Then Yunus ran, he went away angrily, and he was thrown into the well. فَنَادَى فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ. And only in that darkness was he able to realize أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ سُبْحَانَكَ, that there is no God but that one God. إِنِّي كُنْتُ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ. And he acknowledges that I am the one who was doing wrong. all this darkness that seems to be coming our way, that difficulty that seems to be coming my way, is there for a particular reason, particular for me to realize that there is no power except Allah, that there is nothing except Allah, and that I am the one who is the one at fault, and I need to refine myself and break that ego, because at each and every situation, that breaking of the ego is brought about by these tests. And Imam Husayn beautifully depicts this in Dua Arafah. He says, how can I be rich in my poverty? What about in that poverty that I am? Who do I have? No one but Allah. And Allah will send us these messages time and time again for us to wake up, for us to realize, for us to take heed. Salawat ala Muhammad. To give us ease, Allah mentions in the Quran, مَا أَصَابَ مِن مُصِيبَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مِّن قَبْلِ أَن نَبْرَأَهَا. That there is no test that will afflict you except that it is written in a book before we bring it out. Everything is written, everything is destined, everything is there for us. Our particular tests are there particularly for us. What do we need to do? We need to embrace it. We need to grow through it. We need to trust Allah through it. And we need to grow through that test. لِكَيْ لَا, Quran continues, لِكَيْ لَا تَأْسَوْا عَلَى مَا فَاتَكُمْ وَلَا تَفْرَحُوا بِمَا آتَاكُمْ. So that you may not be despondent at what goes away from you and not be overjoyed at what comes your way. This radical acceptance is so important, that in each and every one of us, we may think that we are charting our destiny, but our destiny is written. Yes, we have some level of autonomy, but ultimately what's happening to me in my life, in this current situation, is there for a particular reason. And much of my stress that comes about is me fighting the situation. Now, our brains are wired in such a way that when danger comes our way, we have this part of our brain that helps us overcome that danger. It overrides the rational self. But sometimes what happens is that I create danger out of nothing. The email, the message, the whatever it may be, that becomes a danger. So that's one form of stress. The other form of stress that I have is that I'm fighting the situation that I'm in. You look at the life of Imam Husayn, that even at that last point, he is at submission with God. Ridham biqada'i. That I'm happy. He doesn't say I'm bearing it. He says I'm happy with the situation. Ridham biqada'i. Wa tasliman li amri. Then I have submitted to what he has ordained for me. Same thing we find in Hazrat Abbas. That in this situation that he is in, he is content and he's happy. Imam Sajjad, same thing. He is content and happy. We find this time and time again in different stories in the Quran and different members of the Ahlul Bayt. وَأَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ. When Ayyub called out to his Lord, Ayyub is tested so much. He's tested, he's lost everything, his family, friends, status, health, everything. If something happens to me or someone near me, someone is sick, I tend to stress. If I am sick, I'm worried. Or if I lose some wealth, I'm worried. I lose sleep over it. If I lose my status or whatever it may be. Ayyub alayhi salam, as the Quran mentions, loses all of this. His children, his wealth, his status, his health, everything gone. He is thrown out in a rubbish dump outside the town. He calls out to Allah, Anni massani al-dhur وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. That affliction has touched me, but you are the most merciful. Your mercy is abundant. If it happens to me, I'm going to start blaming. So why me? I'm going to close up into my shell. I'm going to say, Allah, I've been praying to you all this time, now you're doing this to me. When Musa alayhi salam runs away from Pharaoh, he runs away. He was in the palace. He punched somebody, someone died. From the palace, they found out it's him. He runs away. He leaves everything. He comes to the well and he calls out to God. He says, Inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir. That, oh Allah, I'm in desperate need of whatever good you send my way. In these situations, you notice that these individuals are not reactive. They don't start blaming it. Oh, I'm from this family. Oh, that person's from that family. Oh, that person had a head start. Oh, this is happening to me. No. They acknowledged that everything is from Allah. They submit to that situation. They accept that situation. That's happened to me for a reason. Stop. Everything that's happening to us is for a reason. It's there for us to grow through it. They have this notion within spirituality is when something happens to you, say stop. What a pleasure. This is an opportunity for me to grow through it. In that darkness, as I mentioned, there is opportunity for us to see light. So every situation that these individuals are in, it's an opportunity for us to recognize. And sometimes we may think, why is this happening? Perhaps it's a situation for me to reflect and think that I'm not accepting the situation. I'm not grateful for what's happening. I'm not seeing it as an opportunity. I'm fighting it. Therein lies a lesson for me. And I'll always be faced with situations until I acknowledge that this is there for a reason. I need to stop fighting it, embrace it. Doesn't mean that I don't do my best in situations. I do my best. But I trust Allah. I know this is there for a reason, for me to grow through it. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. Allah doesn't change the situation for people unless they change the situation within themselves. In Allah, la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Until we change what is within ourselves. We many a time seek happiness in external things, in approval from others, in monetary things, in situations of status, of fame. We may think, I'm humble, but within my humility, there is something that I still seek externally. But really, there's nothing external. It's all internal that you need to seek. As soon as we recognize that, we realize that then we can become like these individuals, the Ahlul Bayt. How they gave so freely, without discrimination, without discerning who is who, and just gave. There's a Chinese story that goes that there was a farmer who had a horse. Now the horse ran away. So everybody was like, so bad news. The farmer said, maybe. The horse comes back with 2 wild horses. Everybody says, oh, what good news. He brought 2 more horses. He says, maybe. Then one of the wild horses breaks his son's leg. Everybody is like, oh, what bad news. These bad luck, these horses. He says, maybe. Then the army comes and recruits all the children, the youth, to go into battle. But they see this farmer's son's leg is broken. And everybody says, oh, what good news. He says, maybe. Every situation is there for a reason. Everything is there for a reason. What we must do is trust Allah. وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلَ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever trusts Allah, he is sufficient. Yusuf alayhi salam is in the depths of the wells. He has nothing. He's thrown by his own brother, his brethren. His blood brothers have thrown him in. In that low state, Allah raises him up. And it doesn't stop there. Allah puts him back into prison and then takes him out. We can narrate that situation looking at his story. I can narrate the situation happened in what's happened to me. But sometimes in the situation, in the thick of it, I start to doubt Allah. So why me, O Allah? Why this situation? I may not tell others. I'm very pious. I may not complain to others, but within myself, I have this. Why me, O Allah? What's happening? But as we see and have seen and time again, that Allah is doing that for a particular reason, that it's there for a reason, and we must trust it. That same Allah who has helped us through different situations is going to help us through this situation. Our job is to have radical acceptance. Trust Allah fully, with our full heart. وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. And whoever has trust in Allah, he is sufficient. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. And whoever is conscious of Allah, Allah will open up a way even in that situation where we think it's impossible. Allah will open up the way. And as I look into my life, I think of situations that in that situation, I think, how will I come out of this situation? But as I've gone through life, I look at those situations and I realize that Allah was with me at every single stage. But what happens is that I forget. The world has allured me. The situations have made me forget all this. I need to reflect. I need to look within. The pillar of all this is having trust in Allah. Have trust in Allah and He will open up the ways. Many times we seek externally. The Quran says the solution is not external, the solution is internal. Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. That it is by the remembrance of Allah that the hearts are at ease. But in my pursuit, I'm pursuing and pursuing and pursuing throughout life without looking back, without stopping, without recognizing and realizing that this life is temporary. How many have passed? How many a friend or family we've seen gone? We know this world is temporary, theoretically. But this isn't a journey of theory. It's a journey of the heart. We have to reflect. A great mystic was asked, what's the biggest journey that you have gone on? And the mystic thinks and thinks. He's traveled a lot. He says, the biggest journey I've been on is going to thinking about Allah, to actually being with Allah. And the student asks him, but that's very easy. You just have to turn your attention from thinking to being. He says, it's true, it's just attention. But many have traveled through this world without even doing that. And that's what it's all about. Looking within. Being at one with God. But how can I be at one with God when within myself there's all this turmoil that's going on? We have all these different issues and stresses and everything else, where I am looking externally for approval, where I am seeking everywhere else except that which needs to be sought. I'm blinded. There's a smoke screen in front of me. That the heart within myself is full of choppy waters. I just need to sit down and be present and acknowledge that there is no God but that one God. La ilaha illa ant. Subhanak. Glory be to you. You are beyond every expression, every way of describing. Inni kuntu min al-dhalimin. That I am the one who has done wrong. I have covered up myself with all these different veils and smoke screens, and I haven't even looked at myself and taken time out and looked within myself, because every time something happens to me, and something happens, something will happen to me. It's definite. But every time something does happen to me, I run away from that feeling within myself. And then what happens is another thing will happen to me. And again I run away. And that stress builds up, not because I have those situations, because I'm running away from the situations. I run away and I run away and I run away and I run away. And before I know it, life is nearing the end. I must wake up. أَلَمْ يَأْنِنِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَأَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Has the time not come for those who believe, who have faith, to wake up to the remembrance of God, to have their hearts humbled to the remembrance of God? Time is not on our side for this. We must wake up. We must look within. And in different situations, Allah loves us so much that He is going to continually send these situations to wake us up, to make us realize, to make us see that we are here for a purpose. We may think, why me? Why this? But it's there for a reason, for us to grow through it. So remember, in every situation, we must stop, take a breath, observe what's happening, and process that. It's there for a reason, particular reason for me to grow through it. A man comes to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and tells him, I'm getting very angry, I'm very agitated. What should I do? Prophet says, if you're standing, sit down. Change your situation. Don't be in that same situation. Take a moment, sit down, reflect. I'm still getting angry. Lie down, Prophet says. There's a change that's happening. There's an observance. There's an awareness that needs to happen. I'm still very angry. Prophet says, do wudu. Have a different change. Don't be reactive to situations. We are sometimes put in situations where we get very angry or very agitated or very sad or whatever emotion it may be. That's fine. Observe that emotion, feel it fully, and then don't react immediately. We find this in the lives of the Ahlul Bayt. We know this story. Imam Ali is in the battlefield. A person spits at him. He has every right in the battle, in the thick of the battle, to just strike the person. But he stops, because the battle is not external, it's internal. He stops and takes some moment and then continues. And they ask him, why do you do this? He says, because I don't want to do things out of the ego. I don't want to be, in other words, reactive. Likewise, in our situation, in our life, as we know, as the hadith also mentions, that the tongue is like a sword. Once it's unsheathed, it can affect. You can't take your words back. When we are in situations, we must take a pause, because if we react, what happens is worse than if we were to take a step back. Worse for us more than anything else. Coming back to the life of these three individuals, we find in their du'as, Imam Sajjad, when he speaks to Allah, he says that everything from the makruh, from that which he doesn't like, and that which he does like, surur, everything is written down and is from your hands. He has this full trust in Allah. Coming back to that, again we see this pillar of the way they lived life. You have the option. I have the option. Situations are going to arise. How do I react to that situation? Am I going to be reactive, blame everybody else, blame everything else? Or am I going to have trust in Allah and accept it and grow through it? We pray to Allah to give us the strength to be proactive, to become like the Ahlul Bayt. As we see whatever is happening throughout the world, injustice, we pray to Allah to help all those people suffering throughout the world, wherever they may be, whatever skin color they may have, whatever religion they follow. Oh Allah, help them and help us to be like the Ahlul Bayt and grow through them. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala.
Thank you very much. We have some time for questions if there are any.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
You said that, like at the end, you said you pray for people, yeah? Right at the end. But you said that this is all planned anyway. Allah's made all the plans. He's decided for us all what's going to happen. And if He knows what is going to happen and if He decided, then why pray? Because we're going to do that anyway, aren't we?
Yeah. Prayers are very powerful. There was, in the hadith, you have this mention where Prophet Isa is with his companions. Prayers and actions, very, very powerful. Prophet Isa is there with his companions and tells his companions that this boy that's passing by here, he's going to die very soon. So the boy passes. After a while, he comes back, and they're all shocked. He's still alive. So they go to the boy and ask, what did you do? Like, what's Prophet Isa in this hadith asks, what did you do? He says, I gave sadaqah. So sometimes something may be destined, but Allah can always change that destiny. So we always have that power of prayer. And prayer is one thing to change what others are, and also it has an effect on us. When we pray, it affects us positively, gives out that light of God. Hope that answered the question.
Hi, I was just wondering, in terms of predestination and free will, does Islam believe in predestination, and if so, how can it be reconciled with free will?
Does Islam believe in predestination? Islam is a multifaceted, has so many different beliefs. You have people from different spectrums. So there are some Muslims who believe that everything is predestined. Some Muslims believe in free will. So there is a spectrum amongst Muslims that believe in a variety of beliefs. So we can't say that there is one or the other amongst Muslims.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, if you don't mind, if I can answer this question, just because I recently was reading Mizan al-Hikmah in English, and there's a section about predestination and the answer from the Imams as well. And they give a very interesting balance. So they say everything is destined, but at the same time, you have the choice to change that destiny. So it is a very beautiful kind of balance, because the destination, it's like in the dunya, they say everything is balanced. So there's an input and an output, a good and a bad. So everything, so let's say, for example, if you don't pray, it is destined, for example, that you're gonna, he mentioned, for example, it's time for your death, for example. But when you pray, you change something within yourself, and you change something without as well. So it's a difficult. Again, I highly recommend reading Mizan al-Hikmah, the section on predestination, because the A'imma give this beautiful kind of balance. Sorry to mention it.
No, thank you. So on that point, one of the Imams is approached and asked the same question on free will and predestination. And the Imam answers to the person, stand on one leg. So the person stands on one leg. He said, now stand on no legs. He said, I can't do that. Right? There is an element of predestination and free will, and also the scholars mention it's like a game. You know, you have a board game in front of you. You are destined within that board game to play that game. But what moves you make is up to you. Yeah.
Can I just also add a point? This has been a dilemma for me. So you mentioned that give to sa'ila wal mahroom. So even if that person is undeserving, that it says it in the ahadith that we should give to them as well. I personally, because of my upbringing here, and so when you do charity work with the homeless, they tell you not to give money to the person who you know is going to do drugs. Now, I don't know if you can balance out or tell me perhaps if there is a righter way or a wronger way. Personally, maybe it's the limitation of my own belief and my judgment that stops me because of the way I've been brought up here to be like, well, they're going to spend it on drugs, right? So I'm doing the right thing, not giving them any money. Is there anything you can, or maybe an example or anything that perhaps you can change my mind or give me just some deeper insight into that? I would really appreciate it.
Oh, I face the same struggle sometimes where you'd see people but then you make a fair point that I'm judging that person, right? How do I know? As much as I can do, I'm giving. What they're going to do with that is up to them. I've done my duty, it's up to them. Yeah, sure, there may be situations where you know for sure, and maybe you can help them in another way.
Has there ever been a situation, or do you know of a situation where they have not done that? So, for example, when Imam Ali alayhi salam was Khalif, do we have any examples when they did actually stop giving in this scenario? Or because to date, all I've seen is that it's giving, so I haven't been able to find anything that can justify my own judgment of that situation. But at the same time, it sounds rational to myself.
I find it hard. If you look at the text, it's difficult to find that they wouldn't give. Even to the person who wanted to do some harm to them, they would still give. Because they transcended the rationality. They were giving at the level of the heart. Yeah.
Any final questions? Okay, I think we'll end there. Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawat. Brothers, before we end, just got a couple of announcements. Firstly, a special announcement. Sikkim would like to, is pleased to announce the engagement of Imran, son of Riaz Dauji, to Azmina Ali Dauji, Imran, son of Riaz Dauji, and Azmina Ali Dauji, to Zahra, daughter of Shahid Ghulam Hussain, and Bilqis Ramzan Ali. Imran's the grandson of Farida and Nizar Mirali as well. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Brothers, just also to let you know about our upcoming programs. So next Friday, inshallah, we have M. Hilton, who will be speaking to us. She's the co-founder of NAMOD, which is an organization for UK Jews against Israeli occupation and apartheid. And on the following week, we have 15th of Sha'ban, which will be, the main talk will be by Imran Ali Panjwani. And then the following weeks, we have Martin Shaw and Miriam Francois Serra. So please do join us for those events. Also, in the coming month, we have Ramadan starting. Inshallah, our programs will be here daily. We'll be having iftar on weekends and for the last 10 nights. And for the rest of the the days will be, the evenings will be having a program starting in the evening at about 7 o'clock to 7:30. The time varies depending on Salah time and Iftar time. So please do join us for that as well. One final announcement, as you've probably noticed, especially the gents who've walked through the kitchen area, we are doing a refurbishment of the kitchen in preparation for Ramadan as well for the future programs. If you'd like to make a donation to that or to the Salam Center and all of our regular functions, please do either speak to a member of the committee or make a donation on either the gents or the ladies side. Salawat. Ziyara. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا محمد بن عبد الله ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك وعلى زوجتك الوفية الغراء خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين السلام عليك وعلى بدتك الصديق الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيد نساء العالمين السلام عليك وعلى ابن أمك أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب وسي رسول رب العالمين السلام عليك وعلى ولديك الإمامين الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة السلام عليك وعلى أئمة المسلمين من ذرية ولدك الحسين علي السجاد ومحمد الباقر وجعفر الصادق وموسى الكاظم وعلي الرضا ومحمد الجواد وعلي الهادي والحسن العسكري والحجة ابن الحسن المهدي السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا من أنصارك وأعوانك والمستشهدين بين يديك السلام عليكم جميعا أهل البيت ورحمة الله وبركاته.